Representatives Winslow, Dahl, Hawkins, and Mills. House Bill 605, a bill to amend Entitlement Act to equip voters for resources of information about the voting process prior to entering the voting place. General Assembly of North Carolina enact.
The gentleman from Franklin, Representative Winslow, is recognized to debate the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, thank you, Representative Gray, Hawkins, and Dahl for sponsorship on the bill. Members, this is a bipartisan bill that puts information in the hands of voters quickly and easily at the polls. It requires a placard to be posted at all polls that gives a QR code, website, and 800 number to provide the information on voting laws quickly and easily to the voter. 800 number will be staffed with polls open to 30 minutes after. It passed elections and rules unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm available for questions.
For what purpose the lady from Wilson, Representative Cooper Suggs, rise.
Mr. Speaker, to ask the sponsor a question.
Representative Winslow, does the gentleman yield?
Yes.
He yields.
My question deals with Section 2, Section C. Who is eligible to vote in the election and what goes on this placard, this information card? And does a person who has been convicted of a felony with their rights being restored, would that information also be included on this card?
I don't know how to answer that question. It's directly information provided by the Board of Elections, so it's not going to have all the information. It's going to say that you have the ability to vote. Okay. Yes. Excuse me. I apologize.
A follow-up,
Mr. Speaker.
Does the gentleman yield to additional question?
Yeah. Can I follow up on that last question, Mr.
Certainly.
Speaker?
The gentleman may respond to that earlier question if he'd like, then we'll come back.
The Board of Elections is actually going to set that information that goes in the placard regarding that.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to debate the bill.
Lady is recognized to debate the bill.
We know that our nation was founded on the rights for every citizen to have a voice in this government, specifically in the right to choose the people who represent and govern. One group of people who've been disenfranchised from voting in elections are people with felony convictions. And when we look at information to be placed on this card from the state board, those persons have regained their rights. We know that in multiple states, having a person having a felony conviction, they're not permitted to vote, but we know that North Carolina laws are not as strict. While people seeking their sentence for a felony conviction cannot vote, once the sentence is completed, they have their rights fully restored. And it's important to know that this does include probation and parole, and that's part of this eligibility requirement, who is eligible to vote. So that information we need to look at is on that card. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Wake, Representative Jones, rise?
Speak to the bill.
The gentleman has the floor.
At one point, and I'm not sure what the situation is now, but once you serve your sentence and you apply to be back in the queue as a voter, you could get it. But I don't know whether that law is changed. I think you have to apply anyway. But assuming that you have applied and been approved, then you'll be eligible to vote. But perhaps something on the placard about that might be useful because there are a lot of people who fall in that category. Thank you.
For what purpose the lady from Wake, Representative Dahl, rise?
I would like to to debate the bill, I suppose.
Lady has the floor.
Infer information. So, the State Board of Elections, who I know we set the laws, but they then institute those laws, will design this placard to make sure that it has all the information that anybody needs. If it's not noted on the placard, they are free to have 3 different ways to communicate with the State Board of Elections, plus a dedicated 1-800 number so that they can call. I agree with representative over here, that is a very important, and that is one of the reasons why Winslow, Representative Winslow, and the three of us have worked on it, is to ensure that people know their rights. The situation, all of you know it, you're standing out there and you're canvassing and asking people to vote for you, and you get a voter who comes up and says, am I supposed to vote? Am I allowed to vote? Well, I'm not a judge. So you take that person and you go and see the judge. The judge there is not quite sure how to answer the question, or they're busy, or they have an issue that they're trying to take care of, and so that person doesn't get heard. This is a way for people to get heard. And we purposefully did not put every single thing we could think of on this placard so that the State Board of Elections would be able to put what they felt was the most important. And we all know that the State Board of Elections wants everybody to vote. So I hope that clears up the confusion. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Durham, Representative Hawkins, rise?
To debate the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you for Representative Winslow, Mills, and Dahl for all coming together for this common sense bill on the behalf of voters. One of the passions of my life is voter education and voting rights, and this puts us squarely on the path of being able to ensure that everyone does have the right to know. One thing that I wanted to ensure that everyone saw is that not only will the placards be placed conveniently for voters as they're coming up to the voting place, it'll also have a QR code that one can use for their phones that can easily allow it to be accessed, and the Board of Elections will also have a well-maintained website. And that's in addition to the 1-800 number that anyone can call, and any voting rights or advocacy group or any local person that's looking for information can push people towards that 1-800 to ensure that everybody understands what their rights are, what their eligibility is, and all the actions that you need down to how to get to your polling place. And so I want to ensure that everyone realizes that this is a huge opportunity. And I do agree with Representative Linda Cooper Suggs about that special population. And we absolutely will work with the BOE to get that in and to ensure that that is abundantly clear. But we have worked incredibly hard to ensure there was a QR code, a website, and that toll-free number so that people will have more access than they do now. That's exactly what we want. And I ask for your green vote in this bill. Thank you.
For what purpose the gentleman from Iredell, Representative Mills, rise?
To debate the bill.
The
Sorry.
gentleman has the floor.
Members of the House, what the bill does, it just provides information to the voters. It does not change our current law. It just directs the state board to provide more information by a toll-free web or by website, by toll-free telephone number, and also a barcode. So it's good. As a former member of a local board of elections, I can tell you people have all kind of questions. This is going to help hopefully direct people on where they can go to get their questions answered. So I ask that you please support the bill.
Question for the House. Passage of House Bill 605 on second reading. Those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. Clerk will open the vote. From Wayne, Representative Bell, House Majority Leader, recognized to announce the proxy votes of the Republican members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The following members have officially designated me to announce the vote on their behalf. Representative Brisson, aye. Representative Lambeth, aye. Representative Willis, aye. Thank you, sir.
Representative Reeves, the House Minority Leader, is recognized to announce the proxy votes of the Democratic members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The following members have authorized me to enter votes on their behalf. Representatives Alexander, aye. Brockman, aye. Cunningham, aye. Graham, aye. Lucas, aye. Martin, aye. Terry, aye.
Clerk will like machine record the vote. 119 having voted in the affirmative and none the negative. House Bill 605 passed the second reading. Will be read a third time.
General Assembly of North Carolina enacts.
Question for the House. Passage of House Bill 605 on third reading. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 605, having passed third reading, will be sent to the Senate. The gentleman from Watauga, Representative Pickett, is recognized to speak to a point of personal privilege.